Well, it's November the 10th in 2016, 2 days after the biggest political election and upset in modern political history, maybe forever. I'm here with my sister Kay Abbott in their home on their ranch. I have laryngitis, so if my voice sounds a little raspy, that's why. At any rate, Kay, thank you for spending a little time and sharing your recollections and memories associated with our Cordes Oral History Project. Let me begin by first asking you what you remember about our grandparents on both mother's side and dad's side. If you want to begin with dad's, that's fine. Do you have much recollection of Grandma and Grandpa Cordes?
Oh, I don't have a lot. I do remember they lived there in Rapid. It seemed like it was on the corner of the street. It seemed like they was just a couple of old grumpy people. And nice, but just not overly friendly and so on and so forth.
Okay. What about on mother's side, Grandma Funk and Grandpa Funk?
Grandpa Funk.
You remember them probably
Yeah,
better.
I do. Well, Grandpa was tall, thin, skinny man. He never said anything though either.
Yeah.
He was very quiet.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot, of conversations or anything with him. A little. Mm-hmm. But I did like to go up to their place over at Enning in the summertime and visit. I can still remember all that. Mm-hmm. And Grandma Funk and I, it seemed like we did a lot more together. Right. And I remember staying there quite a bit on the weekends and even during the week sometimes, coming from the ranch. And a lot of times maybe Mom and Dad would take me up to Enning and then I would stay. And a lot of times I would either ride home on the mail truck.
I see.
Yeah, I think I maybe caught a time or two from Elm Springs. Yeah. But old Jake was the name of the mail carrier.
Do you remember his last name?
It wasn't Rogers, or was it?
Well, I don't know. It wasn't Jake Fenner, was it? No, that was a neighbor.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. But I especially remember one time when, I was probably 10 years old or something, and this is riding home from Enning to Elm Springs, and Jake,
with the mailman. Okay.
With the mailman, yeah. And Jake's grandson, can't remember his first name, but he was driving, and he was just a young, probably 17-year-old guy. And Jake, though, used to smoke cigarettes, or cigars.
Yeah.
And anyway, he would, after he smoked a while, then he would take his cigar and shake it off in the ashtray.
Sure.
And this grandson had a lot of firecrackers in the ashtray. And one time, I remember this so plain. Old Jake was shaking these ashes off, and then all of a sudden it was just pop, 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 pop. It went all the way to Elm Springs. It's still going. So But
set off the firecrackers in,
yeah,
in the ice.
yeah, he did. But then back to Grandma and Grandpa Funk.
Yeah.
I used to go with Grandma quite a bit. She would want to have me drive her vehicle, and we'd go visit the neighbors.
Yeah.
And this took in a pretty big area.
Yeah.
We'd go clear up to White Owl,
Oh yeah.
to Red Owl, and back again. And oh, I can remember a few of the people like Garners,
Yeah.
Cobbs, I think, Nicholson's or Nichols.
Yeah, I think that's
Something like
the
that.
family. Yeah.
But Grandma loved having me do that.
Okay.
And then a little later on, oh, I was probably maybe only 14. You could get a driver's license then, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
At real young like that. And one time, Grandma wanted to go out to Denver or Eastlake.
Yeah.
That was where Aunt Glee lived.
Yeah.
And Glee was up in Sturgis area. And we were supposed to get Glee back to Eastlake. And Aunt Glee and I drove Grandma's car going back
Oh, I see.
to Eastlake.
That was a long drive for someone that's only 14 or 15 years old.
Well,
but
I
you
did
could
it, or we did it. I
prob-
think Aunt Glee, she probably drove quite a bit of the way going out.
Yeah.
But after we got to Eastlake, to Glee's place, and then stayed there about 3-4 days, and that was fun. Then Glee had the 2 boys, Rodney and Perry, and we just had a real good time.
Right. Yeah.
And they took us touring in Denver and all around. And then when it got time to go back to South Dakota, I remember Glee waking us up real early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and to get on the road. And I drove all the way.
Oh, all the
home.
way. Wow.
Yeah, and that was in one day,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and that was just Grandma and I. And yeah, I think I have a few old pictures,
Yeah.
you know,
Of that trip.
of that trip way back.
Right. Interesting. Tell me a little bit about what you remember about Grandma's personality and attitude and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, she was jolly
Yeah.
and friendly, and what else?
She was the type that, you talked about the Cordes grandparents being kind of grumpy. She was sort of the opposite of that, it sounded
Right.
like. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like back to Grandma, she was very comical most of the time.
Yeah.
And I would help her at her house, like kind of clean up a little bit and get dinner on and stuff, and I can remember one time when we had it was one of the Fergusons, one of those, it'd be like a brother to Paul. It was one of the old guys there, and Grandma would josh around, with him, and then me as a little kid, I would get tickled and start laughing and stuff, and Grandma would just smirk and keep saying funny things. And
So she had a good sense of humor.
oh yeah, she did.
All right. Well, that's a nice bit of memory about our grandparents. Thanks, Kay, for sharing your memories of our grandparents. Now, let's talk about your life prior to first grade. But you shared something last night that I was unaware of, and that goes even before first grade, and that was before you were even born. And your name. Tell me about why you were called Kay.
As I recall hearing, my sisters Jean and Twyla, they like to cut out pictures and collect old pictures of movie stars, and they had quite a collection, as I was told. Well, Mom has told me that she and Dad wanted to call me Colleen Ray, I believe. And anyway, my sisters said no, she should be called Kay Francis, because there was a movie star called Kay Francis, and for some way they thought the baby looked like the movie star.
Wow.
So
you looked like a movie star and was named for
and I
named for
was
one
a
of
baby.
them.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
So,
I was born on a hot summer day, July 18th, and Mom tells this that it was very hot there in that New Underwood Hospital.
oh yeah.
And there were several babies there
Yeah.
born there.
And you were, so between then and the time you entered first grade, you lived at the ranch at Elm Springs?
Yeah. I can't remember, naturally. Were we on the pothuk for a while then?
Well, I don't know. That was before my time. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? From what I remember from Gene and Wilbur, or Gene and others, that yes, you were born in 1938.
Yeah.
So I think you would have spent the first couple of years, and you probably don't remember anything about those, at the pothuk. And then when you were probably about 3 years old in 1940 or 41 or something, our parents moved up to the ranch where at least I grew up.
Yeah.
So
there's a few old pictures of me, like with a little teddy bear, I think, swinging in a little swing thing, and that was at the old pothuk place.
Okay. But you probably don't really remember much
Well,
about that.
no.
Do you remember much about your childhood before entering first grade, when you were up at on the other ranch?
Yeah. Oh, somewhat. I used to like, even way back when I was pretty young, I'd like to go riding horseback with my dad. And I wasn't very old.
Yeah.
But we'd go on long rides.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I can always remember when we'd get back to the to around the house, so I'd ask Dad. It was usually on a hot day, like, and the horses were taking a drink out of the water tank and all that. And I'd ask Dad, "And how far have we ridden today, Dad?" And, oh, it used to be like 20 or 25 miles. It was a long ways. Maybe not when I was real small, but as I got older, I can remember that.
But you went on those long rides.
Oh, yeah.
And did you enjoy it?
I think I did. Yeah. And a lot of times we would cross the Cheyenne River. Yeah. And I used to like to watch those ripples in the river, you know.
Right.
And then we'd go across the river on both sides.
Right.
And we did have some long rides.
Yeah.
And I'd always like when we'd go over to the old Cummings place.
Yes.
Around there, and do a little exploring, I guess, and checking cattle and all. And then I always liked it when we came back towards home. We would ride up. We'd ride sometimes on the old Shepherd Flat.
Yes.
And that was where there was prairie dog holes all over, all over. And That used to amaze me. But a lot of times too, we would ride through Spring Creek,
Yes.
and I loved that.
Yeah.
Because there's berries all over.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like choke cherries,
Wow, wild berries. Oh,
wild berries, yeah.
yeah.
Choke cherries and plums and all, and oh, I used to grab them and eat them. And sometimes Dad would kind of get after me a little bit, but like, I think you've had enough, and I'd say, oh, just a few more. And
Did you get thirsty on those long rides?
a little bit, and if I did get real thirsty, I would jump off my horse and take a drink out of the creek.
Yeah, right.
And that's just the way we did it back then.
Do you remember the name of your horse, or did you have different horses?
Yeah. When I was real small, I rode old Peanuts.
Okay.
And then as time went on, I rode Sadie
Okay.
and Keno. Keno could really run fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Keno was a bigger horse too, or tall.
Yeah.
And but boy, if you let him go, he would really go.
Cover some ground. Huh?
Yeah, cover ground.
Yeah. Did you play a lot with your sisters and Kirk, or was it mainly hanging out with Dad and sometimes Mom?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, way back, this would be when I was smaller though. Kirk and I did play quite a bit together, and we used to call him Kirky Man. And one time, way back, I had a hired man, I think it was Earl Johnson.
Okay.
Would that be right?
Well, I don't know.
I think so. And he used to tell me, you know, he'd say, oh, you are such a pretty little girl. You are just so pretty. And he would carry on and on and on. And then he'd say, but you know what? I think Kirk is just a little bit prettier. And oh, that would just make me fighting mad. And I'd just come up on a big fight. I remember them telling that.
Yeah.
I also remember this would be when I was probably around 9, 10 years old. On our old barn or garage where the shop was.
Oh,
Yeah. There was a tin roof on that, and we had some blocks of wood we put on the end of the tin roof, and then we would get up to the top and slide. Well, we'd take wax paper and put wax paper. What's that? What's that?
We had to take a little break because Brian's here and was cooking, and he just got a little too much pepper in the potatoes. But anyway, we're back now, and we're talking about the tin roof. And I don't think you finished that story.
Well, we would get up to the top of where the tin was, and we would usually take some wax paper and put it on underneath us, on our butts, and then we would slide down there on that tin roof. And of course, you most of the time you would hit the blocks of wood down there at the end. But there was a few occasions when that did not hold, and you'd go all the way down to the ground, and that was a little bit of a jump.
Well, yeah, that would have been a little bit scary for someone not very big. You know, when you were talking about, or when we were talking about before you were even in first grade, and you would go riding with Dad. What do you remember about Mother at that very early age? You know, up to your first grade or whatever. What was she up to?
Well, she was always, or usually always, at the house, just busy, cooking or doing the wash a lot. And of course, back then we had the old Ringer washing machine and all that, and have to carry water in. We used to carry that water in down the basement to heat it up and everything. And then we had to hang all the clothes, things outside. There was no washer, dryer, anything like that back then.
Yeah.
And
Okay, well, that's a lot of interesting and humorous information about what you remember prior to first grade. Okay, Kay, let's move along in years a little bit and talk about your grade school days, grades 1 through 8. Where did you start school? Grade 1.
out there at the old Dalzell schoolhouse.
Okay. And then, did you do all 8 grades out there?
No,
Okay.
no. But I remember first grade, I think it was, my teacher was she was a Finner girl, I think a Harriet Whitmire or something.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that was the married name. And I think that was first grade. Then I think I had, would it be Joanne Deering,
Okay.
I think. Maybe it's the second grade. Or would it be Jean Deering? Joanne, it almost seemed like. I might be wrong there. Then I had Bonnie, Aunt Bonnie.
Aunt Bonnie, okay.
I'm pretty sure that was about third.
Right.
And I also had Ainsworth, Ruby.
Oh, Ruby Ainsworth, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And from there on, what did I do? That would be third grade. Can't remember. I think I went to town to school in the 5th grade.
Okay.
Because Mom always said that was the year when there was all boys in that school.
Out at the ranch.
At Dalzell,
Yes.
yeah, out there. And she did not want me to go to school, be the only girl going to school with all boys.
Yeah.
So then I got booted up to town.
Okay, then went to Sturgis.
Yeah.
And
Because she was in town with Jane Twyla in high school.
So you would have done grades 5, 6, 7, and 8. Well, and then of course high school.
Yeah.
In Sturgis. Well, let's split that into those 2 different parts then. You told me who the teachers were in grades 1 through 4 out at the Dalzell school. What else do you remember about your days in the one-room school at Dalzell? What activities and in terms of recess, maybe who some of your friends might have been, what was it like living at the ranch when you were...
I remember the meter boys. Lowell was about my age, maybe a little younger. And Russell, I think. Lowell and Russell.
Russell Burmaster, maybe?
Yeah, Russell Burmaster was there too. And Wesley Welburn. And Francis. And Lila Mae Fenner. This would be when I was fairly small. But
what was it like at home out at the ranch during those 4 years when you were in school out there? At night, for example, did you play games or listen to the radio or...
yeah, there was no TV or anything like that. So it was just, I helped with the dishes usually and played a few games. What was that one game, Annie I Over?
at school.
At school,
and
at home too.
Yeah.
And Ring Around the Rosie and some of those silly little games like that.
The school was about 2 miles from the ranch house.
Right.
Did you walk or?
There was a time or two when we walked.
Okay.
We usually got a ride because that was quite a ways. Yeah. I do remember too one experience related to the school. It was in the fall of the year, and Dad had a pretty big garden. He seemed like he took care of most of the gardening,
Right.
you know, and he had some big watermelons. They seemed big to me,
Yeah.
you know. And one time he picked a watermelon and told us that we could take that watermelon to school. And Dad took us, it was Belva and Carolyn and me, to school. And we got over to the school, and Belva and Carolyn didn't want to pick that watermelon up because they thought it looked kind of foolish to be carrying a big old watermelon. And I said, well, I can do it. And I think Dad said, well, now you better let them. And I know I'll do it. And I did. I picked it up, but I didn't get too far out of the car, and I dropped it.
Oh.
And Dad was pretty upset with Belva and Carolyn.
Oh, because they.
Yeah, because they made me
Right.
pick up and throw the watermelon out.
Because it split open.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I can't remember if they saved a little bit of it or not.
So Belva and Carolyn got in trouble
Right.
over that with Dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
During those days at the ranch, was there electricity or?
No,
Yeah.
no, not way back.
Yeah.
Back to the ranch in the early days, you were asking me about playing, and this would be like with Kirk. Kirk and I would play with these little paper dolls
Oh,
and
yes.
things, and we'd cut them out of old catalogs.
Yeah.
And I remember one time we each had a pile of dolls, and our dolls were called Nanny Toonie and Sippy Soppy Co.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And one time, well, I can't remember for sure which pile it was, maybe a little bit of both, but Belva or Carolyn, they swept up some of the dolls on the floor, Nanny Toonie and Sippy Soppy Co. And when Kirk and I found our dolls were gone, we was very upset.
Yeah. Yeah. So what had they done with them? Do you know?
What?
What had they done with your dolls?
Well, they threw them away. They were just paper.
Oh.
See?
Oh, they did throw them away, huh?
Oh, I think so, in the wastebasket.
Oh, so you were pretty upset.
Yeah, and cried and everything.
Yeah. Well, were you? Did you cut out some new ones, or was that just the end of the dolls?
Well, it was for that day and all,
Yeah.
but I think maybe later on we did.
Do you know who came up with those interesting names?
I don't know. I think it was Kirk and I, but how we found names like that, I don't know.
Oh, that.
And I do remember one time too, this is when I was a little bit older, but we'd go down the basement in the old house,
Yeah.
and our neighbors, this is Wesley and Francis, came over to play with the Belva, Carolyn or whatever, and Wesley was downstairs and he was swinging on that door down there, and someone shoved the door a little bit, and he fell off.
Oh.
And I think he cut his head pretty bad.
Yeah. He was injured a bit. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think that's right.
Yeah. Did he didn't have to go to the doctor or hospital?
Well, I'm not sure.
But it was serious enough to where you remember it, I guess.
Yeah, and it was serious enough that I know my mom was pretty upset with us for causing such a commotion.
Right.
Yeah. Just a minute, Sam.
Okay, Kay, you stepped away for a minute to get something that you'd written down about when Dad was county commissioner. Is that right?
Yeah. When Dad was county commissioner, in the summer times, he would take the family to Sturgis, and we would stay in the park there in Sturgis, and he would have his meetings. Well, then in the evening time, Dad and Mom would take us to Bear Butte for swimming, and my sisters all had little swimming suits on, and they would get to go. Yeah. They would have swimming suits, and they would get to go swimming. Well, Mom didn't have one for me, and I was a little bit sneaky, I guess. Anyway, one time Dad couldn't figure or find where I went, and the girls were in the swimming pool. Then they heard people laughing and snickering, and they finally discovered here I had taken all my clothes off, and I was running around in the nude, but I was only 2 or 3 years old. So, but the crowd, I entertained the crowd.
I bet you did. You did.
Yeah. Can't read my writing.
Do you? Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
And finish reviewing that.
We used to have a lot of those picnics up in Rapid. That was usually on the Cordes side.
Okay, family reunions.
Yeah, family reunions, and it just seemed like it was all old people there. There wasn't many kids.
Yeah.
My nickname way back was the Pest.
Was what? The Pest?
Pest.
P-E-S-T?
Yeah, I was Pest. Because they would get after me, and I can remember Dad saying, "Oh, you're just nothing but an old pest." And then the name Baby Sister was pinned on me as I got older.
Oh, yeah.
Too. But, I don't know.
Anything else off the list there? If not, I'll...
Okay. Well, probably not.
Okay. When you were out at the ranch during grades 1 through 4, Did you have chores, or did you help
Yeah.
outside or in the house?
Well, I helped probably more in the house. I used to dust a lot. It seemed like Mom was always having us dust things, and then doing the dishes. And of course, you'd have to take the old tea kettle and fill it with water and heat it up and everything, and wash the dishes and drain the dishes and all that.
Yeah.
And I did outside. I gathered eggs.
Okay.
They had some few chickens around, and I hated when one of those chickens would pick you.
Oh yeah, right.
That was not good.
No.
Yeah. But and I loved, as I got older, I loved to go and spend the night anyway out to the old bunkhouse.
Oh yes. Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
right.
Sleep over there.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, we focused primarily, Kay, so far, of your grade school years, the first 4 years, which was when you were out at the ranch. Let's shift now and talk about basically grades 5 through 8 before you started high school. And those grades were in Sturgis. Mm-hmm. So was that a big change to go from the one-room school to Sturgis, or?
Yeah, it was. And I was kind of bashful, and it just seemed like the kids in my class, they all had their friends, and you know, even as a kid in the 4th, 5th grade, you didn't quite fit in and
Right.
all
Yeah.
that.
That made it hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah.
Did but at some point though you started making making friends.
And my best friend way back, and she stayed my best friend for almost forever, and that was Sandra.
Oh yes.
Sandra Matz.
Okay. And you met her when you were in grade school in Sturgis.
Yeah, in Sturgis.
Right.
And we, back then too, we would walk to school, and our house was on 1611 Davenport Street, and to walk from there to the school would be at least 10 blocks, about 10 blocks. Sandra only lived about a block and a half from school, so I would usually walk to Sandra's house, and then, you know, she and I would walk the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But I was at her house a lot.
Yeah. What was grade school in Sturgis like? Did you have certain teachers or subjects or that you remember that you liked, didn't like? Boy.
Yeah, I had a Mr. Krause, and old Buell Woodle was one of the teachers way back, and Mrs. Williams.
During those 3 years in Sturgis, you would still see Dad some of the time, I guess.
On the weekends.
Okay, you'd go out to the ranch, or he
Yeah.
would,
Occasionally.
or would he come in?
Yeah, he came in, but it was nothing like the way we run around now.
Yeah, right.
You know, back and forth and back and forth. But it was usually on the weekend, on Friday night after school, and then we'd spend Saturday. Saturday nights was usually spent going to a dance.
Oh yeah.
At Elm Springs or Union Center. And way back, they used to have a hall, and Red Hall. I think maybe.
So, just clarify that for me. he would drive in from the ranch on Friday evening and pick everyone up and drive back out to the ranch.
I think so.
Okay, or
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
him staying in town.
Well, there, as time went on, sometimes we would have a car in town.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like,
Later.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe when you were in
Yeah,
high school. or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But then we'd still drive home on
Right.
Friday nights.
During your grade school years, what when you think about our parents and the lifestyle, did you think that our family was poor or wealthy, or do you remember kind of how you thought of our family situation?
Oh, I think I probably thought they were more on the poor end, or not
Yeah.
real poor, but still, I know I didn't have all the clothes and everything like some of my friends
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
there in town.
Right.
And the house wasn't, it was clean and all, but it wasn't that fancy
Yeah.
as some of my friends' houses. And I guess you'd say was kind of in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. When you said when you lived at the ranch during grade school, you had chores like gathering eggs and stuff. What about in Sturgis, as when you were still in grade school? Did you have, and you were there just with Mother?
Yeah.
Did she make you do things, or?
Yeah. Well, it was mostly the dusting and sweeping the floor. And, well, one thing as I got a little older, she'd have us hang out clothes at noon. And that was quite a chore, especially in the real cold weather.
Right.
And I can remember back when I was in high school, and of course Mom kept her nieces, Frankie and Annabelle Ferguson. Well, Monty was there too, but Mom used to have Frankie and Annabelle or me have us go out and hang out those clothes, and when we'd come home for lunch at noon, you know, and sometimes your hands would freeze, and it was not an easy job.
Not something.
Not like you can now throw them in the dryer.
Right. During those grade school years, did our family ever take any vacations? Do you remember going with Mom and Dad on any vacations?
To Rapid City and back.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, and Dad used to always say that was like an 80-mile trip, and to Rapid and back, and it seemed like it did take him, he'd always say 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it did take, I can remember too, Sam, when we used to have dentist appointments there in Rapid City, and it was with a Dr. May, remember him?
I do.
And it seemed like our appointments would be something like 1 o'clock, you know, you have to be in there by 1. And as I remember, this Dr. May used to just shoot your mouth full of that Novocaine crap, and you were just plumb dead. And you would, when your feelings in your mouth started coming to about 3 hours later, you would be all chewed up inside, you know, bit up, because I used to hate that, because but it stayed with you a long time.
Yeah, that Novocaine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess finally, during those grade school years, with the ranch being at Elm Springs, and you did go to the first 4 grades out there. What was the community of? Well, actually, I guess the community was Dalzell. What was the community like, or neighbors and stuff? Do you have much recollection of what?
I can remember going to getting the mail, like up there at wasn't that Jim and Laura Fenner? Up, they just lived on that, up on the hill.
Yeah, I think they.
Yeah.
I think they had what was called the Dalzell store for a
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And then I also remember quite plain when we used to haul water. Dad did, or Dad and Mom, and in those big cream cans, but that was over to the Bruce place, right. Polly and old Claus, yeah. Bruce. Yeah.
And the reason that we hauled that, why was it that we hauled that water?
It was good water. It wasn't hard water. Like at our place, at the ranch, it was that hard water.
Okay.
And Mom and Dad didn't want us to drink that. They did use it for like washing clothes and things like that. But our drinking water came from Polly and Bruce.
Okay, about 2 miles away.
Yeah.
And these cream cans would get filled up, and
yeah.
I wonder how long they would last. How often do you think they had to go over and?
Oh, I think we went at least twice a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you remember any blizzards or anything out there at the ranch, or weather?
Oh, I don't remember blizzards so much at the ranch. I do remember. This would be when they had me in town going to grade school, and that would be the '49 blizzard, and I think it was bad at the ranch then too. But of course, Dad was there alone, and but it was very bad there in Sturgis, and schools were out and everything, and you'd see those high old drifts out there on Junction Avenue, you know, they were built up way high.
Yeah. Did that scare you or worry you, or?
Yeah. Oh, it did a little bit, but then I thought it was kind of cool to see all that snow, and then of course I knew what that meant. It was no school for us, and that seemed like a good vacation.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've done a great job, Kay, of covering the grade school years, both at Dalzell from the ranch, and then also your final 4 years at Sturgis. So let's end that, and we'll move on to high school. Kay, you mentioned the one of the blizzards or whatever when Mother wasn't there, and our Uncle Bud was staying in Sturgis. And tell me that story.
Okay. Well, Grandpa Funk was in the hospital there in Rapid, and my mom and Aunt Ada were down there staying with Grandpa, and Uncle Bud was staying there in Sturgis with us kids, and the girls had cooked breakfast one morning, and they'd made this cocoa wheat, and we all loved cocoa wheat, and they dished up some, and there wasn't enough to go around. Well, in that time, Kirk and I got in a fight, and we were saying, I get it, and Kirk finally, he held off and he hit me, and he hit me right in the mouth, and he chipped my tooth. I still have a chipped tooth from Kirk hitting me because he wanted that cocoa wheat. But Uncle Bud he said, boy, when I saw teeth flying, he said, I thought it was time for me to be getting out of here.
Oh, that's a good story.
Okay.
Let's hit it again, this time talking about your high school years, which of course were in Sturgis. Well, just tell me about your high school years and what you remember and what were some of the high points, what were some of the low points, any stories that you want to share?
Oh, it seemed like I loved my freshman year. I think I was pretty popular and had a lot of friends. Sandra and I were still the best friends, but I also had some friends like Patty Haley.
If I can interrupt for a minute, yeah. Yeah, it's better if you look at
okay,
yeah, camera. No, that's okay. Okay, go ahead.
Other friends like Patty Haley and Jean Lehman.
Yeah.
They were good friends. And we all took about the same classes. And I can remember back then when it came to most of the kids would take the algebra class, and you had a choice back then. It was algebra or general math, and I know both Sandra and I took the general math. We thought that was more practical and everything, and we got along in there great. And but then I also remember on choosing the classes, this would be when I was had graduated out of the 8th grade, was getting ready for the 9th grade. Sandra's mother had told Sandra, and of course I was always with her, to go up to the high school and find this. It was an English class that her sister Sybil had taken, and see, Sybil had some problems in school, and I think she'd even dropped out about then, and she was older than we were. But we were supposed to go and find her teacher that had taught the English, and then give her test to the English teacher, I think it was. And we got up there and we went to see this teacher. Can't remember her name. Oh, I do too. It was Mrs. Knapp. And we were able to, they told us to go down to a certain room and go in there and see if her test was there. Well, Sandra and I went to this room, Mrs. Knapp's room, and we did find the paper that we were supposed to be getting, which was Sandra's sister's. And while there, we looked around a little bit, and there on the desk there were all kinds of old test papers from the different classes, and I think it was probably me, the one that saw this freshman English test. Do you ever hear that story?
Oh yeah, I think, well, I had forgotten about it. Keep going.
Okay. But we found this English test, 9th grade, and and said, hey, this is going to be what we'll have next year when we go to school. And we kind of dug down in the pile and picked out one of the tests in this 9th grade English and took it. And I don't know how we hit it or what, but we took a test. And anyway, then we went ahead and handed in the paper that we were supposed to for Sybil, Sandra's sister. Well, when the next year camp rolls around,
The next what?
year.
Oh, the next year?
Yeah,
A year later?
Well, yeah. See,
Okay.
that was in the summertime.
Oh,
Sam.
okay, all right.
That was between the 8th grade year and our
Okay.
freshman.
Yeah.
And so when classes rolled around when we was freshmen, we hung on to that test, and we I think it was a semester test is what that was. It was a pretty detailed test, but when it came time for the test, well, we studied, both Sandra and I, and even, I remember Monty Ferguson, was staying at our place, and I remember we even had Monty ask us some of the questions, and then, but someone mentioned, well, they probably won't even have the same test,
Right. Right.
They'll surely change the test. And we said, well, if they do, we'll at least have a lot of practice. We'll know kind of what the general
Right.
deal.
Right.
Well, time came for the test, and it was an identical test.
Oh.
It was an identical test. And so, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Going through the test, didn't miss many. I think I only missed one or two out of the whole bed. And Sandra had studied a lot too, but she was never as good in school as I was, and I wasn't the greatest, but I did get some better scores than what she did. But anyway, Sandra, I think she only missed one or something. She had a better score than I did, and we was happy. But a few days later, Mrs. Knapp called us in the room and could not, and she just was baffled. Two of her dumb little students come up with the top score of the class. We beat everybody, even like Doug Sinclair. Remember, he was very smart. And, there was other kids that we beat them all. Well, at first we tried to deny it.
Yeah.
Well, we just studied. We just took our book and we studied and studied and studied. And then I think she did a little call-on and everything. I think she even called Mom to see if we really had studied that much. And I know they called in Monty Ferguson. They called him in because we said, well, Monty had asked us a lot of the questions, and they called him in. And do you remember what Kay and Sandra were doing that particular night? And Monty kind of had a dumb answer. Well, I don't know. I guess I think they were studying something, but I don't know what it was. And anyway, that wasn't a very good answer. But finally, after many hours of quizzing us, we I can't remember for sure which one of us broke down,
Yeah,
Sandra or me, but did tell Mrs. Knapp that, well, you know, this past summer when we had to come in to find this test score or something out for her Sandra's sister Sybil, after we did, we found all these tests that were laying on the table, and we just decided that being it was a freshman test for English, that we would sneak and get one out and study it and have it for next year, even if it wasn't going to be the same test. And lo and behold, it was the very same test. So we naturally did great.
You fessed up.
Yeah. And then Mrs. Knapp made us say the Lord's Prayer.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
She did.
Yeah.
And we did.
Oh,
You
yeah,
never-
very great story, Kay. Well, did anything else happen? I mean, she punished you beyond that, or not?
No, I don't think so. I think she forgave us.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great story. Oh, well, that one might be hard to top by the rest of us. But when you were in Sturgis during that particular era in high school, what did you do for entertainment?
I knew you was going to ask. One time there was a dance that was out to Fort Meade, and this was kind of in the fall, cool fall days, you know. It's probably in November, December or something. And Sandra and I wanted to go to the dance, and I can't remember for sure who we caught a ride with, but we did catch a ride out to Fort Meade. Sandra and I did with some kids, some friends, and went to the dance, and we had a good time. We danced a lot, and came time about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and it was getting a little late, and well, there was this Jerry Olson, I think, I shouldn't quite say this, and he wanted to take us home.
Yeah.
And Sandra, she didn't like him, and she said, we'll find another ride. We've got another ride coming or something. And we kind of rejected him. And anyway, we couldn't find a ride then. Everybody had already taken off, and there was no one really to give us the ride back to Sturgis. And,
Maybe.
I'm sorry. There was no one to get us back to Sturgis. And we said, well, why don't we just hoof it? We'll just walk.
Yeah.
Walk. And so we went and put on our jackets and took off. No one was with us. It was just Sandra and I. And we walked as fast as we could from Fort Meade all the way into Sturgis. And I remember we would kind of get down, if we saw a car coming, a light, we would get down in the ditch.
Why did you do that?
Because we were scared someone would see us. We didn't want anyone to see us walking at night, you know.
Okay.
And it was late and towards morning, you know. And so then we would get up and we'd take off.
I mean, were you afraid that some bad guy would come along and Or did you not want to be seen because you just didn't want to be seen?
Yeah, that was more or less it. We just didn't want anyone to see us doing such a dumb thing. And but we did walk, and we walked fast. But we made it into Sturgis, and I don't know, it seemed like it took maybe a half hour at the most, you know, and it's, I don't know, how many,
I don't know.
it's good, it's over a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and of course where Sandra lived was closer for her than where I had to go up to our house on Davenport Street. But after we got into Sturgis, we departed, or Sandra went to her way and I went on to our home. But we made it. We made it. And never did tell anyone what really happened.
Well, you did now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another good story. Another good story. Did you have any jobs during high school?
No.
Babysitting? No.
Oh, I did do some babysitting. Yeah, I babysitted with the Donaldson kids, and that was a riot. There was boys.
Yeah.
It's all boys, and it seemed like their house was real disastrous. I mean, you'd find everything in that house, you know, besides the boys. And so I did do that some at Donaldson's. I also babysitted a little bit with the McPhersons.
Yeah.
That would be what's that? Arnold McPherson.
Okay, all right.
Arnold McPherson
Yeah.
in Maxine, I
Yeah.
think it was. And I think that was boys too, that they had. But as far as a regular job, I know one thing though, we did do after school in high school. We would walk downtown,
Yeah.
a bunch of us usually, and we would either we'd go to Wiggs, you know where Wiggs
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
that fountain shop or whatever,
Yeah.
where you get Cokes. We used to like to get cherry Cokes,
Yeah.
and Wiggs was great, and it was always packed with high school kids. And then on the other side of the street down a ways was that Loman's.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't as big, and we didn't like it as well, but sometimes
Yeah.
it was too crowded at Wakes or whatever, we'd walk down to Loman's and get a little drink
Yeah.
or ice cream or
Right.
something,
Yeah.
and then we'd venture on home.
Yeah. If you had a date, boyfriend and a date, what would you do for activities, or where would your date take you?
Oh, there was a movie house there. What's it called?
Dakota Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dakota Theater. Went to some movies, and back when I was about freshman, sophomore, probably more in my sophomore year, there was a bunch of kids that would go roller skating, but this was down at Rapid City, and I was always asked if I wanted to go along too, and Mom used to let me go down, and that was with kids like Lyle Moorhead and Junior Olson, Kitty McNinney,
Okay.
Gordon Speakman, I think, and I can't remember all the rest. But I did do that, and I like to roller skate.
Roller skating, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the movies and roller skating and, yeah.
And dances.
Dances, yeah.
Yeah, and they used to dance, or we used to dance quite a bit up to Whitewood.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's no longer there.
Yeah.
That was the shaky old place way back when.
Yeah.
And it seemed like you'd bounce up and down on that dance floor back then. So.
Speaking of movies, who are some of your favorite movie stars? Do you have any favorites?
Oh, I liked Doris Day. And I think it wasn't Jane Wyman.
Yeah, she married Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing, this is in the movie, but I told you about my roller skating. But I did also go ice skating some.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't ice skate very good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could stay bundled up and have your skates on, but they would turn in most of the time and stuff, you know. But it was nice being by a bonfire.
Yeah. Yeah. What about singers? You talked about actors. To particular types of music or songs, favorite
I like
songs?
Western or country.
Yeah.
And I like Gene Autry.
Okay.
And Roy Rogers. Well, Dale Evans, I guess, would be in there too. But I like mostly good old country songs and the music.
Let me see what else here. Were you involved in any extracurricular activities, band or anything like that?
Yeah, I took band. I had, I played a saxophone,
Oh, okay.
played sax, and then I also had an accordion.
Oh, I remember you doing that.
Yeah, and I took accordion lessons from Mildred Anderson, and from our house on Davenport Street to Mildred's house, she was on the same street, but about 5 blocks
Yeah. Okay.
at least from our house. A lot of times I would carry that accordion all the way,
Yeah,
and
wow.
it was heavy.
I bet it was.
I did have to stop and rest a little bit, but I think back now, I don't know how I did it,
Yeah, really.
because it was a heavy old accordion.
Yeah. So you were in band and did the accordion and lugged it all around. What was the low point of your high school life?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, most of us have things that are very positive, and other things that maybe were difficult or
Well, I don't know. I suppose the low point would be maybe some of the studying. It seemed like back then the teachers always sent or gave you a lot of work to do.
Homework.
And you'd always
Yeah.
homework, yeah. And it's so much different. Back then, it was regular work to get completed. So
Yeah, right.
for your
Yeah.
class, and like my grandkids now, they do homework, but it's just extra work is what it is.
Yeah.
And but
Well, let me see. Is there anything else you wanted to share about during your high school
Yeah.
days?
well, back when I was a sophomore, and then this would be at Christmas night. It's Christmas night. There was a dance in the country at Union Center, and Balva and Carolyn and we wanted to go to this dance, and I guess with Mom and Dad's approval and saying we could go, we went out to the dance, and we had Carolyn had a car.
Okay.
Carolyn had a car then, and we drove out to the dance and had a very good time, and danced a lot, and just had a good time. Well, it came time to go home, and Carolyn wanted to ride with her boyfriend,
Okay.
Marvin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Marvin. So Balva and I was to take her car back to Sturgis.
Right.
And a good friend of the family out there, and we all knew him, liked him, was Lyle Moorhead. And Lyle was like 2 years older than me. And but Lyle asked if we mind if he rode back to town with us.
Right.
And we
right.
said, well, no, go ahead. And then as we got closer leaving, Lyle said, well, I can drive. I can drive.
Right.
And we said, well, sure. And we didn't know at the time that Lyle actually was pretty tired. I mean, he had not only been to the dance,
Yeah.
but he worked as a carry-out boy
Okay.
at like that, what you call it,
Haley's?
Haley's
Grocery
Haley's
store.
grocery store. Plus, Lyle's girlfriend, this is Betty Jo Krauser.
Yes.
Yeah. Betty Jo and her sister, Darlene, had been in a bad car wreck like a week before Christmas. And they were both still in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And down there in Rapid. And Lyle had been down there several times to see them and everything, and plus his job and at Haley's, and plus going to school. But like you said, he still wanted to go to the dance, and he did. And then he said he'd drive home.
Yeah.
And we think that Balva and I, we think we all three were in the front seat
Oh, okay.
when we left the dance. But then Balva, as we went closer to Sturgis, she crawled in the back seat. She was tired and went to sleep. And it seemed like I always had it in my head that I wanted to not go to sleep, or didn't get that tired back then.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk.
Right.
I talked to Lyle a
Okay.
lot, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a thing about the wreck now,
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
even back, way back.
Right.
But that was just always the way. I was talking to whoever I was with, you know. And we got almost to Sturgis. We got clear to Fort Meade, and that's the last we can remember, you know. And Lyle swerved off the road. He hit, what was it, 5 guardrails? I think it was like 5. And he was tossed way out of the car over 100 feet. And I think I was like 75 feet out. Lyle was killed instantly.
Oh, awful.
So,
Awful.
yeah. And Balva wasn't, she was thrown just a little ways right out of the car. But she was cut a little. She actually looked worse than when they got me. Well, Carolyn and Marvin was just right behind.
Yeah.
Right behind. And when they came up on the wreck, it was very hard on them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And like I said, I think Balva was kind of cut on her leg, but I didn't have any cuts. I did have a kind of a cut way up high on my leg, I guess you'd say. But otherwise I was just knocked unconscious. And so I think Marvin stayed. It seemed like they stayed. One of them stayed with us.
Of course, you don't remember any of this, but this is just what you were told.
No. And it must have been Marvin must have stayed there, because I think Carolyn then got right into Sturgis and went up to our house, went up to Mom and Dad's, and before I think anything was reported or anything, you know, and said, I've got something terrible to tell you, that Balva and Kay have been in a bad wreck, and then from there on, they got the ambulance and everything out. And like I said, Lyle was killed instantly.
And your condition was?
I was unconscious.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And they took me to Rapid City to the hospital, and I was fully unconscious till a good 30 days, 32 or so days.
Wow.
So.
And probably were on the verge of death, I suspect, at some point.
Well, probably. And I can remember when I started coming to, I was just the nurses and doctors would keep talking to me and stuff, you know, and I couldn't respond really, but I would kind of move around a little bit and stuff, and Dad and Mom were there most of the time too, you know, but when I started kind of coming to, I just couldn't remember where I did say, where did you go, where have you been, things, and it was just, I couldn't really tell.
Of course not.
No, and then when I did finally, I couldn't talk either at first.
Right.
But when I did finally start to talk, it sounded, or I've been told, it sounded like it was from a drunk person talking.
Yeah.
And I do remember this one nurse that would hoover over me, and Dad was there a lot of the time with me then.
Right.
And she would always say, like, to Dad, well, how's our girl doing? How's our girl doing? And this would play a big part in my mind when I'd hear her say that.
Yeah.
And then Mom came in a little later and took over, and I can kind of remember I said, "Are you and Dad divorced?"
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Isn't that something that you came up with that question?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do remember that.
Oh. Over 30 days of being unconscious.
Yeah.
Wow. Gee. Well, I'm glad that you made it, and that you're with us today. What a true tragedy, especially. I mean, it was almost the loss of you, and how difficult for Mom and Dad, and of course Balva, and then for your good friend to be killed. That was probably a difficult thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for you to understand that as you were coming out of your
Coma.
your coma. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you then were in the hospital, I suppose, for an additional period of time, and then were you?
I think it was like about the middle of February when I got out.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're with us, because that was a close call.
Yeah, and I know, like they had special nurses all the time, a lot of them, and plus family was great being there.
Well, I hate to end on a tragedy like that. Although from our point of view, it's not a tragedy because you're with us and have done a lot of cool things ever since. But I think that pretty well takes care of the high school years. Or did you have another story or two you wanted to share? We can pick up stuff at the end too. So, well, thanks, Kay. Kay, let's move on. You graduated from high school in what, 1956? 6. Okay. When did you get married? 58. 58. So there were 2 years between high school and marriage. What happened during those 2 years?
The summer, I think, after I graduated from high school, I worked up at, what do they call that? There was a lodge up in the hills.
The Black Hills?
Yeah.
Oh, was it, what, 3?
3 Point.
Three Forks? 3 Point? Okay.
3 Forks.
Okay.
3 Forks.
Okay.
I think that was it. And, well, my cousin, Darlene Gray, had called me and said she worked there, and someone had quit, and wondered if I wanted to come up there and fill in and help. And Mom and Dad, I think at first they thought it was kind of way out and wouldn't work, but after we talked about it, they said, well, I guess if you want to go up there and work, and then I was able to stay with the Grays, with Aunt Catherine, Uncle Dewey, and Darlene, and they lived about, it was close to 5 miles out of Hill City, and so Darlene and I would take their car and go in, and then it was a little bit further to that lodge, but we worked there, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It was a neat little place, and you'd meet all kinds of people.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I did.
Okay.
The year after I was, summer after I was out of
Right.
high school. And then I went to college, latter part of August, down in Shadron, Nebraska.
Okay. Shadron State College.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started down there that fall, right,
Yeah.
right out of high
Yeah.
school. Okay. And you were there for the full year?
Yeah, for just 4 years.
What was that year like?
Yeah. It was fun. I had some real good friends down there. My roommate was kind of a crazy gal. I mean, funny.
Yeah.
And likable. And her name was Dolores Norman. And I had some fun times with her
Right.
and at her place too. She lived out at Ulrich's,
Okay.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
But I took classes, for an elementary teacher.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
So that was a good year.
yeah,
Have any boyfriends down there?
not friends, but not really boyfriends.
What about that guy from Thermopolis?
Oh,
I remember you telling me
you
about him.
remember
Yeah.
him? Yeah, that was.
I shouldn't have said that, huh?
No, you should have said that. That was towards the spring of the year, and I did date him a little bit.
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot
Yeah,
like that.
met him at a dance, and
Yeah. So that takes us through the first year after high school
Yeah.
and before marriage. And then what about that following summer and then the next? And what happened after
Yeah.
that?
Well, the summer after that, I just stayed at the ranch and with mom and dad and stuff. And then I did decide to change
Okay.
college. And I did go up to Black Hills Teachers College, starting fall.
Well,
And-
if I could interrupt for a minute, why did you not go back to Shadron, or why did you change?
Yeah. Oh, I think mostly because it was a little further
Yeah.
away.
Shadron,
And-
Shadron,
yeah. And I kind of missed home and
Yeah.
missed being closer to
Right.
Sturgis and everything.
Okay.
So,
So go ahead with that. You're up at Spearfish then.
okay. Then I went up to Spearfish. I met some good friends. My roommate was Cleo Wheeler,
Okay.
and she was another kind of crazy character, but a fun gal, and she loved to come home with me and go out to the ranch and ride horses and things like that, and we had some. I didn't like the college itself as well, my classes.
As you did at Shadron.
As I did at Shadron. But I didn't do that bad.
Yeah?
You know, I got by pretty good. Well then, see, in the fall, in November is when the deer hunters, Bill and Mick, his brother-in-law, McFarland, and this Gene McCormick, a friend, they came up to Gene and Wilbur's to go hunting.
I see.
And they had been there a year before, but I didn't know them or see them or anything then. But when they came up that fall to go hunting, well, I was there in Sturgis with Mom and Dad, and it was time to go out to the ranch, and I can remember Dad was saying, "Well, let's hurry up and get going and get all this," and we had full intentions to hurry up and get going. And as I was going out to the car, the phone rang. The phone rang, and of course I turned around and went back to the house, and Dad was yelling, "Let it ring, let it ring." But I went back and answered the phone, and it was Jean,
Yeah.
and she was saying that, well, if you're going out to the ranch, why don't you stop by?
Okay.
Because I might need some help.
Oh, I
She
see.
had little kids, and
Yeah,
so
right.
Pam was just a couple of years older, maybe not even that. And anyway, she said, "Stop by, and maybe you can stay
Okay.
and help me." And so then I go out and tell Mom and Dad
Right.
that, well, let's head that way, but I want to stop at Gene and Wilbur's, and because I might stay, and I don't think Dad was overly happy. He said, "Oh, you got to get out to the ranch and everything." But anyway, they did. We stopped out to Gene and Wilbur's, and then I did stay
Yeah.
with Gene, and we set up that night. I know it was kind of late. They'd heard from Bill, and that they were coming up, but they thought they'd be up there around 8, 9 o'clock or something. Well, it was quite a bit later
Okay.
than that. It was about close to 10:30, 11. But they finally got in. And anyway, I hadn't even met them.
Right.
I knew the Abbotts from way back. Didn't tell this. Way back when I was just about 9, 10 years old, when see our dad and Mom, our dad, no, just our dad was worked. I'm sorry, I mixed that up.
Okay. It's okay.
Willie Abbott. Willie Abbott. He worked for our dad.
Yes.
Way back.
Yeah.
And so the families were friends.
Right.
And the family had been out to Elm Springs, out to the ranch, about, I don't know.
Well, that's when you were only 9 or 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I was
All
just
right.
little.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was actually a friend, kind of a pen pal, you called it,
Yeah.
of Bill's sister,
Oh,
Cora.
I see.
Cora. And then his older sister, Dolores, was more the age as what Belv and Carolyn were. And I can remember that day when we were coming from Wasta. We'd been down there for something, Mom and Dad and I. And we got close to Elm Springs, and there was a parked car there at Elm Springs, people in it. My dad looked at the car, and he said, "Well, I'll be darned, that license plate is Tripp County."
Yeah.
He said, "That's got to be someone I know." And it was Willie and Ines Abbott.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they followed us down to the ranch.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
before any of
Right.
this.
Right.
And
So you had met
so
your future husband's family, but only when
Yeah,
you were
and I didn't
10
pay
years old. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't pay any attention to him at all, hardly. He was playing around a little bit with Kurt and you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I think you had Mom had some little ducks and maybe little baby chickens.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, around, and that's what Bill can tell that he remembers, kind of playing around with that.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, then 10 years later or something,
yeah,
you're at Gene and Wilbur's, and Bill is now 25 years old or something like that, and he's coming up to go hunting there,
Yeah.
and you're sitting up waiting to help Gene,
yeah,
and at some point he arrives, right?
right,
What did you think of him?
yeah. Well, very friendly.
Yeah.
And nice looking.
Yeah, yeah. What else do you want, right?
Yeah.
That's enough.
I didn't, of course, the one guy was his brother-in-law, and you know, he was a nice guy.
Right.
But then the other guy was Gene McCormick.
Oh, okay.
And he's same age as your dad or Bill, and crazy guy, wild guy,
Yeah.
and I didn't want him.
Right.
He seemed too wild for
Yeah.
me.
But were you kind of attracted to Bill right from the get-go?
Yeah. Well, I just thought he was a nice guy.
Right. Well,
nice guy.
So what?
Yeah.
Go
So then we ended the evening. I think Gene had a little snack or something for him and put everybody to bed. And next morning, the guys all went out hunting.
Right.
And I think Wilbur went with them.
Yeah.
You know, and then they came in late, or pretty late, the next day, and Jean and I had helped her some. We fixed the dinner up for the hunters, you know. Plus we were busy that day, kind of cleaning the house and taking care of the little kids and everything. But after we ate supper, and then it was still daylight out, and the guys, Wilbur and Bill and this Gene and Leland McFarland, they went outside. They wanted to check out. They'd gotten one or two deer that day, and they wanted to go out and check it out and everything. And they did. And Gene and I went and just was cleaning up.
Yeah.
Well, here comes, a little while later, Wilbur comes in, and Bill's right behind him. And Wilbur says, Kay, can you come here a minute? And, well, yeah, what do you want? And he said, well, you know, he said, Bill was asking, kind of wondering what all there was to do, and if there was anything going on in Sturgis tonight, he says. And I told him there's the bowling alley and there was the movie house and everything, and I'm just listening. And then Wilbur says, well, you know what, Kay? He says, Bill's an awful bashful guy, but he'd like to ask you out for a date.
Oh.
And I about fell through the floor.
Well, I can. Yeah.
And he did too.
Yeah.
He turned red as a beet.
Oh, he was standing right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Leave it to Wilbur.
Yeah, leave it to Wilbur. And then he stammered around, and he said, would you like to go out? And I said, I probably sounded about as bad, and I said, well, I don't know, I guess I could. And then he asked me, well, what are you gonna wear? And I thought, oh my God, what am I? And I can't quite remember how I answered him, but, well, just some slacks or something. anyway, I guess he thought it might be a dress. I don't know what he thought.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did go into Sturgis.
Okay.
And we went to the bowling alley and we went bowling.
Okay, that was your first date.
Yeah.
With Bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
When did? How long after that first date did you know something was pretty serious, or did it?
Well, that was the first date. Well, then the next day was Sunday, and the guys went out and hunted again, and Mom and Dad came by and picked me up
Yeah.
to go back into Sturgis, and anyway, in the meantime, Bill had asked me if I was going to be around on Sunday,
Okay.
and I said, well, yeah, I think so. So he came into Sturgis, and we went. I think we just went out there and had lunch or something, and so that's when. And then he went back to Winter the next day.
Right. And in that day and age, you weren't having cell phones and stuff. So, when he left, did you know that there could be something going on?
Yeah, he told me that he really thought I was a pretty special person.
Yeah. Well, he was right. He was right. Oh.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So he told you that really that first weekend that you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened in terms of between then and how long between then and when you got married? About.
Okay. Well, we wrote letters.
Yeah. Okay.
We wrote letters.
Yeah.
And
do you still have them?
yeah, I do.
Do you? Oh, that's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice.
Someplace.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt. So you wrote letters.
Yeah.
And
see, that was in November.
okay.
That was in like the 3rd or 4th of November of that year.
Yeah.
And then he came up at Christmas time. Mom had a pretty big dinner there in Sturgis, and it was just all the family, Jean and Wilbur came in, Carolyn and Marvin were there, Twyla and Buck and their kids were all there. Well, the whole family was.
Right.
And I can remember this real plain. It seemed like the dinner was like at 12:30, 1 o'clock or something, and everybody was getting hungry and everything, but there was no Bill Abbott.
Oh.
He wasn't there.
But you were expecting him, right?
Yeah, I was expecting him because he had written to me, and then I think he had called once or something and said he'd be up there. But there was Marvin and Wilbur and Buck. That'd be it. They were all teasing me.
Oh.
And they would keep looking out the window and they'd say, here he comes, and half the time I'd jump up and look, and then then they'd kind of, well he was here, but now he's gone, and all this, and they'd make big jokes out of it.
Right.
And anyway, this went on quite a while, and finally, I wasn't paying any attention. And then all of a sudden they were saying, here he is, he really is here, and everything. And at last, he was there.
Yeah, okay.
And so.
This was a Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And he apologized to everybody because he was late, but his grandmother, his grandma had I'm not sure what it was stroke or something. They had to take her. She was in the hospital at Sioux Falls, and they had taken her over there that night before, like on Christmas Eve. He and his dad took Grandma to Sioux Falls. I'm pretty sure that's how that was. And so the time he got back to Hidden Timber, to the ranch and everything, it was something like 1 o'clock or so in the morning, and so he only had a few hours of sleep. And then after he got up, he had to do chores and everything, and feeding and stuff. And then he did want to get up to Sturgis to see me, so it was late. but
okay, so he comes up at Christmas. Then how did the relationship and romance go from there? What happened?
Yeah. Well, we just got pretty serious, I guess you'd say, over each other. And I know we hadn't known each other and we hadn't gone together that long, but things were just clicking right.
Yeah.
And
when did he officially and formally propose at some point?
I think it was after Christmas.
Yeah.
After New Year's. Well, I think I came down here then for New Year's.
I see.
Yeah. And then I think Mom and Dad, is that when we went to Oklahoma City?
Right.
Yeah. You were in.
I was, yeah. Maybe we'll talk about that for a little bit, but staying with the romance for the moment. So he proposed fairly soon.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys really hadn't dated very much,
No.
had you? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it seems to have worked out.
Yeah. We had, I think it was in the first part of December, like 2nd, 3rd or something. There was a stock grower meeting down at Winter, South Dakota, and Mom and Dad did come down to that, and I was able to come with them.
Okay.
And then Bill came in and saw us there.
Okay. You were still going to college that semester at Spearfish.
Yeah.
But I suppose that ended.
It ended.
Yeah, and you didn't go back the second.
No.
Yeah. Okay. After when he proposed, did you have to scratch your head, or was it an instantaneous yes?
Oh, probably that.
Okay, here's a great question. How many broken hearts did you leave behind?
Oh, I can't count.
I can't count. What about some of the names?
No.
No?
Oh, that I had a few friends behind, but
Oh, okay. So then when did you get married?
we got married then in June.
Okay.
June 12th of next year.
So basically, just to recap, you met Bill for the first time in early November, and got married early June, about 8 months later or something like that, 7 or 8 months later. And as we say, the rest is history, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about the rest of history, but take a little break. Okay, Kay, we got you married off in June of 1959, right? 58. I'm sorry, 1958. Let's talk about what all has happened between then and now, which is a long period of time. But you got married and moved to. Where did you move to? Where did you get married?
Got married in Rapid City.
Okay, all right. Did you go on a honeymoon?
Yeah, we got married at the Presbyterian manse, they called it. Wasn't really in the church, it was in the, and it was Reverend Waltz was the minister, and he had actually been a minister down in this area years before, you know. But there was just Mom and Dad and Bill's folks, Willie and Ines, at the wedding. Grandma Funk was there, and then Kirk stood up with us, and Sandra.
Okay. Yeah. I know I wasn't invited, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got married. Did you have a honeymoon?
Yeah, we went to Yellowstone.
Okay. Yeah. And then where did you begin to make your married life?
Here at Hidden Timber.
Okay.
We actually, well, we lived. This house has been, we've added on to it.
Yeah.
You know, but I lived here, Bill and I lived with his folks for, must have been about 4 months, 5 months. And then we did have a little bunkhouse back here.
Yeah.
And we fixed it up and we moved in that.
Right.
And then a little later, the place where Cody and Chad live now, there was a house down there, and Bill's folks went and moved in the old house down there. And later they had a modular home. But
so you began your ranch wife, mother.
Yeah.
Did you? Well, go ahead.
Well, I taught. They were without a teacher.
I see.
Down here at this McCormick school.
Yeah.
And so I did teach that first year.
Oh, the very first year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You teach just 1 year?
Yes, I did. And then later on, I did a lot of substituting.
I see.
But I only taught the 1 year.
Did you like teaching?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. The kids that I had to teach were very good kids, you know, and it was good.
Yeah, good. Then when did your first child come along?
Casey was born in February 26th, 1959.
Oh, okay. So, and then that, you were a teacher and a ranch wife, and now you're also a first-time mother.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how many additional children?
5.
Okay. Tell me their names and where. Well, let's go back to Casey. Tell me a little bit about Casey and where he lives and stuff.
Well, he lives over in Sioux Falls now, but before Sioux Falls, well, he finished his master's degree out in Michigan.
Yeah.
He was at East Lansing, I think it was.
And he's married.
Yeah, and he's got three kids: Amber, and Mary, and Will.
Okay. And Casey's wife's name is
Carla.
Okay. Where's she from?
And well, she was from Eagle View.
Okay.
but she's the registered nurse, and now she's a nursing teacher
Right.
at the college.
In
Augustine.
Augustine College
Yeah.
in Sioux Falls, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, who comes after Casey?
Tracy.
Okay.
Tracy. And she lives at White River, South Dakota. And Tracy has taught, we're going to find out for sure how many years.
Oh, I know.
So,
About how many would you guess?
yeah. About 36,
Oh,
7
yeah,
years. Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, yeah. And she's taught, well, it's a home economics class, but now they call it,
Family science.
yeah,
probably,
family
whatever.
something, yeah. And Tracy is, of course, married, Lance Tucker, and they have the 4 boys, Talon and Tyrell and Logan and Link.
Okay.
And the 2, Talon and Tyrell, are both married, and Talon and his wife Jenny are expecting a baby this month.
Oh, okay. That's exciting.
Yeah. And Tyrell is married.
Right.
He's married to Sky, and they have 2 little kids,
Okay.
Sawyer and Landry.
All right. Okay. You might have mentioned this, but Tracy married
Lance
and Tucker.
Tucker.
Oh, okay. And do they live right in? Tracy teaches in White River.
Yeah.
Do they live?
They
right?
live about 4 miles out of White River.
Oh no.
On a farm.
Okay. No.
Yeah. And Lance's dad was Alvin Tucker, and he was a twin. He was a twin to Alan Tucker, and you could not tell them apart.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Alvin is gone now, or he died several years ago. But Alan, Buddy, they call him, he's still alive, not in too good a health, but those Tucker boys, Alvin, or they called them Sonny and Buddy, nicknames. You could not tell them apart.
Yeah.
You could not tell them apart.
Now, is Lance's main work right on the farm there, or does he have?
Yeah, he works right there on the farm. He has held some other jobs, a few other handyman jobs, and pretty handy as carpenter and working in, laying carpets and things like that. But he keeps busy just right there on the farm.
Okay. And then after Tracy,
is Brian.
right?
Brian. And Brian, Brian's, what is he, 55? 55. He was never that, should I say, studious.
Right.
He was very good on the ranch.
Yeah.
But he didn't like school.
Yeah.
He did not like school. And
Did he graduate from high school?
yeah, he graduated.
Yeah.
But he did like his activities. He liked to party. and
I like that.
yeah, he liked to party. And he took a grade over when he was in grade school. Like the 2nd grade, I think, but that really didn't hurt him. He just he was kind of, they used to nickname Brian as a class clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he liked to party around and get attention, and that's just was the way with Brian.
Right.
But when we put him back a grade, then he was the same grade as our daughter Cleo.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
and Cleo is younger, but
Yeah.
they were in the same grade.
All right. Okay. And tell me a little bit more about Brian and where he lives. Yeah.
Well, Brian was, we thought, just a typical ranch hand and ranch kid. He loved animals,
Right.
and all this, and he loved old rodeoing,
Yeah.
and he was exceptionally good
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
at rodeoing,
Yeah.
and he won many state titles.
Right.
Bull riding, he was very good. He had very good balance,
Yeah.
and just all around
Right. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
And he continues to help here on the ranch, right?
Yeah, he does. He doesn't rodeo anymore.
Right.
And he doesn't really like to ride horses or anything anymore. But he is good on the ranch.
And then you mentioned Cleo,
Yeah.
who ended up.
Back to Brian though. He
Oh.
did get after he's out of high school, it's probably about 3-4 years after, he developed this schizophrenia.
Yes. Yeah,
And
right.
and he was sick. It was a mental illness, but he was in the hospitals, like down in Yankton,
Yeah.
even in Omaha for a while,
Right.
and at Sioux Falls. And so he is under a lot of medication.
Right. But he functions well, and he.
Yeah, he does function well, but sometimes he will still kind of go into another world.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah. Right.
But as far as going out and driving a tractor, you can't beat him doing that.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Well, that's has been probably challenging, for,
it has been.
for the family.
It's been, probably one of the hardest things for, well, not only for Brian, but for the whole family.
Yes.
But the whole family has helped him.
Yeah, I know.
So much.
Right.
With anything from taking him on trips and
I know.
just.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I just find it remarkable, and so I admire so much the way the entire family has come together and continues to be there for Brian, and because I know it has been a challenge, yeah. And I'm glad that he's doing so well, and even though there are times that he, like you say, goes into another world, and so he lives here with you.
He does.
And then you started, you mentioned Cleo's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about Cleo.
Cleo's married to Wade Berry, and they have four children. Little Wade, or Wade Jr., and Taylor, and Tawny, and Windsor. And they have the ranch about 8 miles from here, and they all work together. They don't live there all together, but in the summertime and stuff, it's quite a family, because they're all like working in the hayfield and doing different things, and they've got a beautiful home up there and everything. But Cleo did have the misfortune about 2 years, would it be 3 years back, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she had to have a lot of treatment and all, and came through pretty good, was doing pretty good. But then on a doctor visit back about a year ago, better, they diagnosed the cancer came back. And when she was first had the cancer, she was going up to Rapid City, and it seemed like things was going pretty good. But then after she had trouble again and was diagnosed second time, she went she had a good friend in winter that's a doctor, and anyway, she ended up going to Sioux Falls, and they liked that center better. But she's still taken, she had to go through the chemo. She went through radiation, and she's doing chemo again this second time. But I think it's in a milder form. She actually looks good now, but she had some complications with the chemo before, and with her hands swelling, I think it's her right hand, and her arm, it was not real good.
Right.
And she had to have this water. There was water, and she'd have to have it drained they do it in their back. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a worry right now for you, and
but her family, and especially Wade Senior, he has just been excellent. So supportive with her.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
But her kids are good with her too.
Yeah.
And so are the neighbors. The neighbors up there, you can't believe how good with both rounds of the cancer that Cleo has had in the last few years, of them bringing in a complete dinner, and sending in money, and just very good, very good.
Well, I'm aware that there's lots of people that are cheering and praying and thinking on her behalf, including Trish and I, and we wish for the best on that one. Now, Cleo and Wade, you mentioned little Wade, who's our oldest. I don't think you mentioned their other children.
Yeah.
Did you?
I thought I did.
Well, tell me again. I can take it out.
Okay. There's little Wade is the oldest, and then Taylor. Taylor is the surgical nurse up to Pier right now.
Right.
She's one of the traveling surgical nurses, they call it. And then Tawny is going to college down at Portela, New Mexico.
Okay.
I think I said the name right. And then Windsor is going to college at Shadron.
Where you went?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, after Cleo, where do we go? Who comes next?
Well, Lisa.
Lisa, okay.
Lisa.
And Lisa, tell me about Lisa.
Lisa. Well, Lisa lives in Mitchell, and she is married to Scott Walton, and they have 3 children. Sydney is should be in her second year in college. She went and she's going to Watertown now
Okay.
to college, and Braden is a senior in high school, and he wasn't that fond of the schooling in high school and all, and they kind of transferred him to a VOTEC school in Mitchell, and he's doing very good with that.
Yeah.
So
Good.
he will graduate in May from the VOTEC, but he'll also graduate from the high school there in Mitchell. And he will be a lineman. That's what he wants to do.
Okay.
And then Jada just turned 12 about a month ago, and she is in the 6th grade and does well in school and quite advanced in everything in her school and activities and all. She's got into swimming, and she's done exceptional well with the swimming. Can do all these different strokes and butterflies and what have you.
I don't think you told me what Scott and Lisa do in terms of work occupation.
Okay. Well, Scott was a cop. He was a cop for, well, ever since they got married. Married until about probably a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And after some of the problems that cops had to deal with,
Right.
he quit.
Yeah.
I think Scott had been with the police service for like 20 some years.
Yeah.
Some years. And so now what Scott is doing is he sells these window blinds like that.
Okay.
And installs them.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are in big buildings like hospitals and schools and places like that. You can buy them individually. I did.
Yeah.
But he's done real well in
Good.
that line of work.
Right.
And then plus I think now he's also helps install some small buildings like little sheds and things like that. I don't think he's done that as long as he's done his window blinds, but he does do both.
Right.
Yeah. And Lisa graduated as a nurse, I'd say maybe 6 years ago or so.
But she previously graduated in some other field.
Oh, well, yeah, she was in the extension service there. Yeah, when she first got married.
Yeah.
And she did work with that for several years. And then she got into the nursing field, and she worked there. Well, she worked right there in Mitchell, and there was some other hospitals too that Lisa had worked at. I think at Plankington or something. But now she's working in, it is Plankington, isn't it? I think it's Plankington.
Okay.
It's with the training school there for youth there at Plankington, and she has to work with disturbed children and all this. But she does a good job with them, and the kids really like her and all this, but it is a kind of a nerve-wracking job and a little tough.
Yeah, okay. You know, I don't think you mentioned, or I don't think I asked, Cleo and Wade, what they do for a living.
Okay. Well, they have the ranch up there.
Okay.
See, we bought the ranch. It was called the Old Chris Ranch or Chris Place, and we bought this 20-some years ago, and a nice little ranch, and then after Cleo and Wade got married, they moved out to near in Washington. I think it was like at Everett, Washington.
Okay. Yeah, there's an Everett.
Yeah, yeah. And Wade worked out there with that Boeing company.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Cleo didn't actually, I don't think she actually held the job out there, but they were out there about a year.
Okay.
Better.
Okay.
And then they came back and they bought the ranch up here.
Okay. And also, I don't think I asked carefully enough about Casey. I mean, you mentioned that he got his master's degree and so on, and we talked about Carla and she has a PhD as a nursing instructor. But Casey, tell me what he does.
He operates his own business, and it's called Direct Control, and in his business, I'm not sure how many employees he has. I'd say something like 20, 25 at least employees. But what they do is they put in heating and cooling elements in big buildings like hospitals and colleges and schools and just big buildings. Okay. And he's done real well with that.
Super.
Yeah. And if you want to know anything about their activities, Casey keeps himself in very good shape. Yeah. He loves the bike riding. He rides bikes all over, across the state. He's been a couple times. And he's gotten involved in the RASDAC, they call it. And this is all these bike riders that ride across South Dakota. And they have ridden, most of the time has been up in the hills, like from Spearfish all the way back to Sioux Falls, and it'll take about 7 days to do that. And then I'm not sure how many years Casey's done that, probably 6, 7 years. The last year, though, they did take a little different route, and where'd they start from? I'm going to say Sisseton. I think it was Sisseton, where the riders started, and then they went clear up north, like McIntosh, in that area, and they had a good ride, long ride, 7 days, whatever. But I do know that most of the riders would prefer to ride like in the Black Hills or Badlands. They love that part. And I think this next bike ride will be in the Badlands.
Well, now we need to go back and pick up your youngest child and talk about her a little.
Oh, Cody? Cody. Well, Cody, Cody taught school. She is our youngest child, and she taught school. Oh, I'm gonna say about 3 years. She taught 1 year at Volga.
Oh, right, near Brookings.
Yeah, near Brookings. And she taught 1 year at New Underwood. And she taught 1 year in Mission.
Okay.
I think it's only one in Mission. But she's a busy housewife. She's kind of our hired man too, or hired woman. She helps her dad a lot on the ranch. But she's a busy mother too.
Right.
We've got 3 little boys. And the oldest is Chaz, and he's 12. Chase is in the 2nd grade, and he's 7. And Cord is 4, and he stays at home with her grandma,
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chad, her husband, he's a financial executive, I think you call it, at Todd County Schools
Okay.
in Mission.
Right. And so he drives back and forth from out here to Mission. Okay. Well, anything else you want to say about your family and history as a wonderful wife, wonderful mother?
I think all my girls, I think they're all good mothers.
Yeah, right.
And they're good cooks. They're very, like I said, very good mothers. Good workers.
Right.
Like Tracy, I think she's an excellent teacher.
Right.
We've heard so many good reports about her teaching ability there at White River, and they're all good in their jobs.
Well, you and Bill need to take some credit for that, right?
A little bit.
Well, yeah. What did you try to emphasize or instill in your children when they were growing up?
I'd just say to think a lot of themselves, and be kind to others.
Right.
And I like religion. I think they need to keep a lot of religion in faith in their families and in their homes and with their kids. And a work ethic.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah. Well, you've done a great job, both of you, and you and Bill. So, well, that's probably a good place to end.
Probably is.
Kay, I'm sorry my voice is still giving me trouble, but this isn't about me. It's about you. You're the one that needs to talk. So, we're in good shape, I think. We spent quite a bit of time talking about your life, beginning with your marriage up until today, in terms of your great family and the ranching work. There was one thing I think you did want to share, or we wanted to talk about a little bit, and I was going to ask it. In terms of sort of extracurricular activities, our mother was very much involved in what was then called the South Dakota Cowbells, and then you became heavily involved as well. Do you want to tell about that a little bit?
Yeah, I became involved with cattle women on our local club in winter to begin with, and then I got into the state organization. I was state member, and then I was an officer. Started out as the secretary and moved on up, and I was president of the South Dakota Cattle Women.
You just keep talking.
I loved working with the cattle women, and I loved everybody's interest in promoting beef, and that's our big industry, and we think beef keeps you going.
Yeah.
And here comes, we might have to stop again.
Okay. That was Cleo?
I think so.
That's okay, we can stop. It's October 9th, 2017. It's been almost exactly a year since I sat down with my sister Kay, and we worked our way through much of the script, but not all of it. So we're here today, Kay, to finish up what we began a year ago. And just to refresh you and others, during our last interview, we had basically brought things up to the current point in time. We had gone through your high school, your marriage, and then the life that you have led in Hidden Timber, South Dakota, and everything that went along with that over the last 55 years or 60 years or whatever. So now, with all of that behind us, let's talk about your current life, where you live, how do you spend your time, what brings you joy at this stage of your life.
Well, basically, I'd say my life hasn't changed an awful lot as far as the housewife, mother type thing that I am doing. It seems like whether you have 2 to cook for or 7 or 8 or more, you still have the same amount of planning and preparation and cleaning and everything. As I prepare meals, and same way with the cleaning things and stuff, I just can't see where mother, wife, work changes that much. You know, it's basically, I've slowed down.
Yeah.
I don't do it as fast as I used to, and probably not quite as good as I used to, but I haven't made anyone sick or anything. I think I think I can still carry on pretty good.
Well, based on the meal that you fixed me both last night and today, I don't think you've lost your edge at all. You've always been a great cook, and you enjoy those roles that you're in terms of...
Yeah, I don't think, I used to say I would never get tired of cooking, and that's changed a little bit. I do enjoy going out and eating and letting someone else prepare a meal.
Yeah, right.
That's great to do that part.
Yeah.
But...
well, you've done enough of it over the years to where you deserve to pamper yourself once in a while and go in and have someone take care of you.
Yeah.
Anything else about your current life? I mean, you're in good health and all, right?
Yeah. Well, I think basically I am. I had a checkup here just a few weeks ago, and my tests and everything came back relatively good. I just did a mammogram here about 4 days ago, and I haven't had results on that yet, but hopefully things are okay there too, and I feel good. I feel good, and still I don't exercise as much as I used to. But I used to go like around 2 miles a day, and then I did kind of cut it down to about quarter, 3/4 of a mile a day. I think that's dwindled down a little bit more now. But I still do exercise quite a bit. I
Good.
walk
Good.
outside and stuff. And through the house, you're walking all the time.
Have any trouble sleeping?
Not too much. You usually have the bathroom breaks. But,
Yeah, right.
And sometimes I can go right back to sleep, which is good.
Right.
But occasionally I'm wide awake and lay there, and I hate that.
Yeah.
But that does happen too.
Well, I'm glad you're doing so well and are healthy and happy after almost 80 years almost on this planet. And thanks for sharing the kinds of things that you continue to do and enjoy. Let's shift now to a set of questions, if you will, that are not really time related, just kind of a potpourri of things. And I want to begin by asking you to share with me your feelings and recollections of mother and dad. For example, how would you describe their personality, their temperament, their character, as you think about both mother and dad?
Well, both mom and dad was enjoyable to be around. I think mom and I got along good most of the time. She could once in a while get a little bit upset at something that, now you shouldn't have done that, and things like that. And she had these little taps that she used to slap, or little slaps that she would kind of tap us with, and you knew better than that, and things like that. But she, I guess I had the title of, from my sisters, of being the golden child, and I don't think I was really lived up to that 100%. But I didn't give mom or dad much trouble.
Yeah.
And dad was very easy to get along with. Dad and I used to ride horseback a lot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And that was always enjoyable. I can remember all those long rides we took together throughout the years.
Yeah. Well, that was probably a special memory, a special occasion for you to have that one-on-one time riding horseback out over the
And I
prairie.
used to cook for him quite a bit too, as he batched out in the country, and I would try out new dishes and new things that sometimes was good and sometimes not.
But he was happy to be kind of the guinea pig and live with your experiments, both the good ones and maybe the ones not so good. Were they very strict in terms of discipline and rules and stuff like that?
Oh, I would say I think mom probably did it more because she was really with us more, where dad was out in the ranch. Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a little camera thing here, but we're back. We're fine. Just keep on going.
Where dad was out in the ranch more while we were growing up. But it was always be home by 10 o'clock on school days, and you know, we got a little bit later on the weekends, 10:30, 11, and she would get upset if you did not get in at that time, and would be calling friends and around, and my girlfriend Sandra she would call her mother and things like that, but that didn't happen very often.
At least not with you.
No. No. Not with the golden child.
That's right, not with the golden child. What brought Mother and Dad their greatest joy or satisfaction, do you think? What is it that they really treasured?
Oh, I think their family, probably more than anything, and seeing us all grow and excel and do well with our lives, with school and jobs later on, and then with the marriages and families, and I think they felt happy with all of us.
What might have stressed them out or upset them? I mean, apart from curfews or whatever, anything that you can think of, the type of things that maybe made them worried or concerned or stressed?
Well, I'd say probably maybe financially somewhat, with Dad had a lot of cattle, and the price of cattle would go up and down, just kind of the way it has been throughout the years, and he worried some about not getting enough to provide for the family, and then of course the weather fits in there too, with hot dry days and the bad blizzards and things like to that extent that can distress you.
What about Mother? Were there things that would cause her to worry?
Oh, I think Mom probably worried more, like, are you sure, are you running around with the right people? She liked to have us make sure we had the best of friends, and didn't want us to run around with the right crowd, and make sure we behaved, and listen to her rules, do a good job at school. She was concerned with that school, and she liked us in different activities, like I belonged to the Job's Daughters and Theater Row. That was a big thing, and she liked me to participate in different events that they held in, and just can't think of some of that.
You mentioned Job's Daughters, for example. Were our parents religious? Were Mom and Dad religious people?
I would say they were too. We didn't we always did a good night prayer.
Yeah.
Then I'll lay me down to sleep and all that. And I prayed a lot on my own on things. We went to church in the country. I used to go up with Dad several times. Well, Mom too sometimes, but it seemed like Dad and I went to the old Elm Springs church more often. And in Sturgis, we were real good with going to the Presbyterian church, old C.D. Erskine, and I was baptized, joined the church. I was relatively old when I think of how the babies are all baptized and nowadays, but I think I was almost 12 years old when I took lessons to join church and was baptized with C.D. Erskine, and he was a great minister. And
let me ask, what did you learn or have you learned from Mother and Dad?
to work hard
Okay. Yeah.
and be kind to people and not talk about people.
Right.
And if you have nothing to say good, say nothing at all.
I remember that very well from especially my dad.
Yeah. And not make fun of people.
Right.
And count your blessings.
Those are important lessons that
Yeah.
that you and I think our other siblings learned. I think they would all agree with you on
Okay.
those. Well, not everyone is perfect, not even parents. You've indicated how much you valued and learned from Mom and Dad, but on the other hand, is there an area or two where you maybe wish they would have done things a little differently as a mother and father, or not? And if so, what might that have been?
I don't know, Sam. I think they did the best they could.
Well, that might be the right answer, and that
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
that all that anyone can do is do the best they can, and they probably made a little mistake here and there, but overall,
Yeah. I know it, like I said, it seemed like they always both felt we should be with the right, have the right friends, right? And have a good work ethic and
a couple of other quick things to end this segment. Pet peeves and quirks. Any strange little, probably humorous things that they had as pet peeves? And if you can't remember any, that's okay.
I can't.
Okay.
Can you?
Okay.
You can't give me anything that anyone else said, or I just can't think.
Well, I'd be happy to, except I don't remember. I remember a few of mine that I'll share when my interview time comes. But for example, I remember Dad didn't like buttons and safety pins.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
At least I think I have that right. So. And
Mom?
I'm trying to think of any pet peeves that Mother may have had. Yeah, I'll have to think on that myself. when
Okay.
my turn comes. My final question is, how involved were they in community life, whether that was the community of Elm Springs or Sturgis, in terms of associations and organizations and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, I think Mom belonged to some of the. She was great cowbell member, a cattle women, but she also belonged to some clubs, like way back at Elm Springs. I don't think she did that many in Sturgis. She did belong, I think, to a few church groups that she took part in somewhat when she was in town.
Right.
Dad, I don't remember. Of course, you covered Dad being the commissioner and all that.
We have that, right.
And he was involved with, he was involved with Masons,
Yes, he was.
Masonic Lodge,
Yes, he was, yeah.
and all that, too.
That's right. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah,
Thanks for mentioning that.
yeah. And Mom, wasn't she with Eastern Stars at one time?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure on that, but I don't think she did do that a lot.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to share about our parents? Any funny stories or recollections or anything before we move on to another topic?
I know I'll think of some things when we get done talking.
Well, when that happens, make note of them, and we can come back and add those in. Let's change topics for me to ask you, Kay, about Bill and his family.
Okay.
You know, the Abbott family. A bit about their background and so on, because we need to understand that as well.
Well, Bill he actually had 4 sisters. One died in infancy. One died, Phyllis died when she was about 3.5, 4 years old. And it was termed as a heart disease back then. Then he had a sister, Dolores, which is about 3 years older than he is, and sister Cora, which was my age. And did I tell you before that our families were friends way back?
I don't remember. Why don't you go ahead and it doesn't hurt to repeat this. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, the Cordes family, my dad and Mom, were friends of my husband's family, Bill and Ines. It goes way back. My dad and Mr. Abbott worked together. Well, actually, Willie Abbott, Bill's dad, worked for my dad when Dad had the ranch down around Wood, and he was known as I think they named him as Wild Bill, Willie or something, and he was real good with horses, and that Dad liked that too, and so they were friends from way back and kept in touch with families. And I remember real plain when I was probably about 10 years old or so, and I'd gone with my mom and dad up to visit Grandma Funk at Inning, and on our return trip home back to Elm Spring, or past Elm Springs, going on to Dalzell, we saw this car at Elm Springs that had a Tripp County license plate, which was 60 back then, and Dad spotted it right away, and he said, "Oh, that's got to be someone going to see me," and it was the Abbotts, and it was Willie and Ines and Dolores and Cora, and they came down, followed us, and went down to the ranch, and probably spent, I don't know, about 3-4 hours there, and where the mom and dad visited with them and entertained them, and Cora and I were, like I said, about 10 years old. We just got along real good, little girls, and we got to be pen pals later on. And I think Kirk and Sam had little ducks. I think it was little ducks outside, and this is how Bill, my husband now, Bill remembers them letting him play with these little ducks, which I can hardly remember Bill at that time, but do remember Cora probably more than any of them. And anyway, that's how that.
And they lived I'm talking about Bill's parents, they lived all of their adult life really right here where you live now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, basically, they moved around somewhat way back.
And were their parents, this would be Bill's grandparents,
yeah,
were they born out here, or did they move here from somewhere else?
They came from Iowa.
Iowa, okay, all right, okay.
But then they were in Todd, Tripp County,
Okay.
most of their life too.
Okay. Also, tell me about Bill's, just as a person. What's Bill Abbott all about in terms of character and temperament and attitude and so on? How would you describe your husband? Or maybe you don't want to.
Yeah. Where do I start? Oh, he's can be very nice. Very fun-loving. He likes to pull jokes. This is one of his big things.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very proud of his family,
Mm-hmm.
and was proud of his parents and sisters. Very proud of our children and our grandchildren. And we have always gone to all activities that our kids and grandkids have participated in throughout the years, whether it's sports, which basically is more sports than anything, but also some musical things and other activities.
What about work ethic?
Well, he loves to work. He loves to work, and he loves the ranch. Bill spent 3 years in the Army back in the 50s, but came back, and I guess the ranch was really run down then. I used to hear this from some of the neighbors way back when Bill and I first got married, and they have told me about, you can't believe how Bill has built up the ranch from what it used to be. It had gone way downhill, and Bill has built it up a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else? We can come back if you think of something.
Yeah.
Let's let me ask 2 or 3 things related to your childhood as you were growing up out on the ranch in Elm Springs as well as Sturgis. What are some of your best childhood memories?
Oh, probably riding horseback. I loved that, and I liked to help. Mom used to always say, "No, let's get the house cleaned up," and I like to help her dust and sweep and clean the house and things like that. And I enjoyed going to school in the country.
Right.
I spent 5 years in the country in the rural school, and that was about 2.5 miles from our place. I remember even walking that a few times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like you enjoyed both as a child being indoors helping mom and as well as being outdoors. So you really weren't a strictly indoor kid or a strictly outdoor kid, kind of a combination. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. When you were growing up and you thought about your future, if you thought about your future, did you have any particular ideas or dreams about what your life might be? Would you have envisioned that you might be living in Tripp County on a cattle ranch, or did you have other things that you sometimes fantasized about as well?
I probably didn't visualize Tripp County actually as where I wanted to be, but I did want to be in the country.
You know, out in the countryside.
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than the city.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That didn't. I didn't have
Right.
any real inkling for the city life.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What are some of your pet peeves? Do you have any pet peeves? Anything that annoy you?
People that burp. I hate that, and I used to have an old friend in high school that I kind of liked him, but I couldn't stand the burping, and and then as it turned out, I think my husband probably burps as bad or worse than what I used to remember the other guy.
Are you going to reveal the other guy's name?
No.
Okay.
It was Mike.
Okay. Any other pet peeves other than burping? Well, let's shift to a more serious topic, and that is, as you look back on your life, what are some of the most important accomplishments, or what are some of the things that you're most proud of that's brought you the most satisfaction in your life?
Just living in a good location with a good family, having good cousins and good friends.
Yeah. Now, the flip side of that, and that, you know, we all have our changes and challenges and disappointments, adversity. As you look back, what have some of those been?
The worst things.
Yeah, some of the things that have been, if you care to share them, that have been things that you wish had not happened or happened differently.
Yeah. Oh, I can't think of too many bad things. I think I used to envy probably some of my friends maybe having a little better clothes and things like that than what I probably did, and actually my folks
Right.
did well.
Right.
But there was some friends that dressed the very best, and it seemed like they were more popular and
Right.
so on
Right.
than
Yeah.
what I thought I was.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's take a little break, and we'll come back and wrap up with 3 or 4 more questions.
Okay.
Well, we're back after taking a little break, and Kay and I were talking about one major change since last year when we did this, and she wanted to just make a short comment on that. It's painful though.
Okay. Well, one real painful thing that has happened in our family since in the past year is the loss of our daughter Cleo to cancer. And Cleo was diagnosed with cancer a year ago. Yeah, almost a year ago. And she fought it. She fought it hard. She went through all kinds of treatments, Cleo did, and did all she could to conquer the cancer.
You mentioned that a year ago, but originally though she was diagnosed about 10 or 12 years ago. And
Exactly.
And she thought she had whipped it at one point, and then it came back.
Oh, it did. It actually had gone in remission
Yeah.
there at one time. And then it came back, yeah, I think like about a year ago. But she was so strong and so positive that she was gonna beat this terrible disease. And she did all she could, and her family was so great with her. Her husband Wade was just out of this world in treating and helping her.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry of that loss, and I know that the pain continues and will forever at some level, but you were blessed to have such a wonderful daughter that left such a legacy. I can tell by reading, everything from Facebook to other, well, the size of her funeral, by far the largest funeral that I've ever gone to. And she was loved and appreciated by so many. And your loss is immeasurable. But I know you have great memories of the wonderful experiences and the strength that she showed. So I hope you and Bill and the rest of the family can take those blessings into account and work through the grieving process. So thanks for sharing that. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Let me ask Kay, back kind of to the script here. As you look back on your different chapters in your life, everything from growing up to high school to your married life, Are there some of those chapters that have been particularly rewarding or fulfilling, or have they all been different but good?
Oh, I think they've all been different, but good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now, this is a chance. Well, let me see. Let me ask this. How has the world changed since you were young? What are some of the most profound changes that you've observed since you were 5 years old, say?
Okay. Oh, I think it's changed a lot in a lot of ways. I guess I can say, thinking of like in schools, the discipline, the way, probably before schools even though, the way the kids treat their parents, the way they talk back to their parents. There's no guideline, no guideline. We tried to do our best, and I think we did fairly well with having rules and laws, regulations, which I think lacks in so many families. And of course, a lot of them are one-parent families, but that there's some good ones of them too. But it's harder. I think it's a little harder when they don't have a mother and a dad around. But it just seems like the discipline and the way people talk. I can remember one time, this goes way back, but when I was with Mom, and it was just, we were listening to the radio then, and it was on an Art Linkleiter show, and it was way back. And they asked this little girl something about, well, I see your mother is getting a little bit large. What is happening? And the little girl spoke up and said, well, Mom's gonna have a baby. And of course the crowd all cheered and everything. But my mother spoke up to me and said, why, you would never ever hear us talk like that back in our days, like speaking out to the whole world that like, my mom's gonna have a baby. She just thought that sounded kind of irate, and really there was nothing wrong with it.
No.
But that was Mom, and they just didn't talk about things at all like that, and there'd be a lot of other things too.
Right. Some of that openness that we have now, though, maybe is, as you point out, there's nothing wrong with that little girl saying that.
Yeah.
So maybe there is some positives associated with being a little bit more open about certain things, though, too. What do you think?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
what other changes? You talked about family discipline, school discipline. That has changed over the years. What else about the world is different than it was when you were 5 years old? Is the pace of things the same?
no, it's much faster.
Is that good or bad, do you think?
Well, I think it's bad to a certain extent. It's gone. Maybe it could be more in between. it makes you wonder how much further can it go.
Yes, right.
There's so many tragedies and killings and shootings and things that I just don't don't accept at all.
Of course. Let me now tap into your almost 80 years of wisdom. What are some of the most important lessons that you've learned over the years about life?
Well, I would say just being honest, hardworking, loving, kind, caring individual, and love not only your family to the utmost, but also your friends and relatives, and I think it's good to be able to help others if they're having problems throughout the world.
That's good.
Okay.
Those are good lessons learned. Related to that, if we had someone sitting here with us today, and you might want to think about a grandchild or something that's maybe 15 years of age, maybe 20, maybe 25, what words of wisdom might you give them as you counsel them or encourage them about their life, which is about to unfold in front of them?
Yeah. Well, I think it would probably be basically about the same as what I said to you. Just be honest and loving and caring and have a good work ethic. Don't be lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do the best you can and do good unto others as you would be good to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Good advice.
Okay.
Good advice, I think. So, well, that's the end of the formal script, if you will. Is there anything else that you might want to share? There are 3 or 4 little things that we talked about when we were off camera.
Okay.
And let me remind you of those.
Okay.
Okay, Kay, we finished the scripted part of our interview, but in the course of that, there were 3 or 4 odds and ends of things you thought of that you wanted to share, and I wrote those down as so that I could tickle your memory just a little bit. When you were growing up, did you have any nicknames?
I was called the Pest.
The Pest.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were called the Pest?
Well, I guess I pestered everybody.
Did you have any other nicknames?
Well, in high school, I developed the name Baby Sister. Baby Sister. I was the youngest of 5 girls, and I was known as Baby Sister to a lot.
a second item that you mentioned, and we probably should have picked it up under pet peeves, but we didn't. And that is when our Aunt Liddy would call. Tell me about that.
Aunt Liddy would call, and we were always taught by our mother to, when we answered the phone, we would say Cordes's. Aunt Liddy would call, and we would say Cordes's, and she would say, "Is this Cordes's?" And that used to just bug the heck out of me, and I think the rest of us too.
Okay, that's a good one. You also had an episode associated with cotton candy that you wanted to share.
Yeah. Well, when I was very small, probably 2 or 3 years old, my folks they never took us to town much in those days. But once in a while we'd get to go to Rapid City, and this was a big treat to everybody. And they took me in a store, and it was something like the J.C. Penney store, and I would get away from my mom and dad. And one time I got behind the counter where the clerks were, and I got into a big roll of this cotton that they had to pack things anyway, I just dug in this big old roll of cotton, and I just had cotton balls all over the floor. And that did not make Mom and Dad very happy. I think they grounded me, and I couldn't go to town for several years.
My gosh, several years?
Yes.
Well, for being the golden girl, you weren't treated very well, were you?
No, I wasn't. Not then.
The final story was an episode involving Mother and looking up to the sky. You want to recount that story?
Yeah. Well, as I recall, it was a nice sunny evening, and we called Mom out to the front door, and we told her to look up in the sky, and we pointed out something we wanted her to see in the sky. I can't remember for sure what it was, if it was a big bird or something way, way up in the sky. "Do you see that, Mom?" And she would say, "Well, I can't see anything different." "What's right over there, Mom? Look, don't you see that big bird?" And in the meantime, we had taken a dead snake, a rattlesnake, if I remember, and we had put it down at the foot of the steps, which Mom was deathly hated snakes. Well, anyway, after Mom could not see what we were trying to show her up in the sky, someone said, "Well, what is that down at your feet?" And Mom looked down, and she said, "Oh my God, my good Lord." And it just nearly killed her. It was a bad experience. And Dad was very upset with what. I wasn't involved in it, but I saw it happening, and I think it was one of my older sisters.
Oh, which one would that have been?
Well, it was probably Carolyn.
Okay.
Carolyn.
I just wanted to document who would do such a thing.
Yeah.
It's turned out not to be such a practical joke after all, right?
No,
okay.
She almost had a heart attack.
Yeah. And Dad was unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. And letting us all know that Carolyn was responsible for that.
Yeah. Carolyn was in the doghouse a lot of times.
But the golden girl was never in the doghouse.
Oh, a little. Maybe I got a trace of it.
Just a little bit. Not very often, though. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I never was, but anyway. Okay, well, thank you. I think we're good to go.